Hi, I'm John Bring. I am a writer and an illustrator on Penguins vs. Possums.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Kadlecik, and I am the creator, one of the writers, one of the illustrators on Penguins vs. Possums.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Calhoon Bring, and I am a writer on Penguins vs. Possums.
Hi, my name is Stefano Terry, and I'm the creator, writer, artist of the Gamma Gals.
Hi, my name is Amanda Donahue, and I am the illustrator on The Margins.
My name is Sebastian Kadlecik, and I'm the creator of Quince.
My name is Kit Steinkellner, and I'm the writer of Quince.
And I'm Emma Steinkellner, and I'm the illustrator of Quince.
So if someone was to ask me how they wanted to go about getting into comics, I'd say just keep drawing for one thing. Reach out to people, reach out to creators that you are fans of, start dialogue with them. I know a lot of artists are more than happy to talk to people about their work, about how they started doing what they do. In my case, it was a complete happy accident that I even got this job as an illustrator. So don't shut any doors and just keep on persevering. And you just have to have a really strong passion for this because you never know what might fall into your lap.
So before Quince, I've been an illustrator for a while, doing everything from high school romantic comedy webcomics to sort of a more comic strip style comic diary for my school newspaper. And in all of that, there was plenty of room for me to learn my hand as an illustrator and to improve my skills technically, but Quince presented me with a whole lot of new challenges because all of a sudden I was doing all this dynamic action and weird supernatural special effects and things that I had never ever done before because they're not the sort of skills that are necessarily required for the types of comics that I was doing. So that was scary, especially because I, as an illustrator, always feel like I'm growing and changing. And so if you already feel like you're not at the finish line with your skill and you're sort of being asked to do all these things you haven't done before, it can be intimidating. I think probably the exact same advice, though, you just have to do it. And if it's wrong or if it doesn't look like you want it to look when you see it in your head, then you can change it. You can always change it and you can always tweak it. But you gotta start. And I think for some of the things like anatomy and action and effects, there's a lot of resources. You know, the internet exists, and there's a lot of resources that want to help you become a better artist. There are photographic and stock pose resources that show you how like bodies work in space. There are, you can, if there's an effect that you want to imitate in nature, like look at nature footage. And I would say don't be tethered to that. Maybe start with a life drawing of something in life, and then you can tweak it as you see fit so it fits in with your style. But you got to draw something, or else there's nothing there.
Well, I think if you want to be an artist or an illustrator, no matter whether you want to work for the big two or you just want to do a webcomic or you want to self-publish a book, you want to get in the independent world, the first thing to do is to draw. You need to have your stuff available as a portfolio, either both digitally and physically. And I'm assuming you know how to draw at this point. If not, there's a ton of great resources, both at the library and specifically on YouTube. I learned how to do a ton of stuff on YouTube. Even for this comic book, I learned how to letter on YouTube. So
I learned how to color and do grayscale on YouTube. So
so just really reaching out to those finding those resources, also reaching out to other people that have already done it. If you go to conventions, if you go to coffees and comics, that kind of thing, and just the more people you meet, the better for advice and just to kind of immerse yourself in that world.
Okay, so illustration, that's probably the most fun part I have about the whole thing, is just sitting down and being able to like visually represent the story that I spent however amount of time writing. But it's challenging. I definitely think you should challenge yourself Draw something that you aren't familiar with drawing, or that's out of your kind of comfort zone, and then just do it to the best of your abilities, because it's not gonna be perfect, and you don't want to be perfect. You want to be finished, and that's kind of the mantra that I use whenever I'm creating any kind of project: is finished, not perfect. Because in a year, that amazing, perfect book that you worked on is gonna look like something that you drew years ago, and it's not gonna you're gonna always be moving past where that last limit is. But I definitely encourage pushing yourself to that artistic limit, and not being afraid of messing up or retrying or starting over. I've had to scrap whole pages like, because I didn't like how the layout was, or the flow of the action scene or the story beats. And just don't be afraid to just work on it for as long as you need to get it done, even if it takes months, weeks, years to get it finished. Just get it finished. Just do it. Don't doubt yourself into inaction, that sort of thing.
Something I found going through the process of making the margins was that thumbnailing is probably your best friend when you're going through the pages. I found out I started doing chunks first, so I do thumbnails and then sketches and then inks. And I learned that if I went through and just did thumbnails all the way through the whole script, it really helped me get a better sense for the story and a better flow for the pages and sort of for the panel layouts.
If you never illustrated, one of the things that I like, or that I use as a reference, is the Scott McCloud books, the Understanding Comics and Making Comics and Reinventing Comics. And for me, those have been very, very great resources to kind of get your mindset into where it needs to be to create a comic book, no matter how simple or complicated the premise or the story may be that you're trying to tell. But those have been very, very helpful. I usually look at a lot of storytelling books, just anything to kind of get me into thinking about telling a story visually and panel to panel. So reading a lot of comic books, reading a lot of art books, the Scott McCloud books, that sort of thing.
And to take a step back, you're assuming that they already have the ability. If you just have the desire to draw and you just want to get into it, don't be afraid to be bad before you can be good. Because a lot of people will get frustrated, they're not good enough, they're not progressing quickly enough. I've been drawing since I was 11 years old, and I still feel like I'm nowhere near where I could be, but I still keep drawing, because every time I do a new drawing or every time I really work at it, I do get better. So yeah, I think just keep at it, and don't stop yourself before you've had a chance to realize your potential.
So doing the margins, like I said, I came from an animation background, and so the margins is my first really big illustration job. In animation, the closest thing I can kind of compare the two to is doing storyboards. So I kind of took what I have learned doing storyboards and adapted that into a comic book template. So the two are very similar in that they're telling a story with pictures. However, with comics, I have to shrink what might be a couple panels of storyboarding into just one panel. So it was very challenging to figure out like what key moments am I showing in this scene, and then also I have to do a whole background for that, and there has to be maybe multiple panels with that same background. So I kind of took what I learned in animation and used it to fit my style of comics.